Children, good morning. In the last section, we have learnt about the work of the water and work of the waves in detail. In today's class, we shall learn about the work of the winds, children. So, because of the winds, what are the landforms gets created? Let us try to understand in today's chapter. So, we actually are discussing about the lithosphere, the landforms and the physical features which get created because of the interaction of four important terms like erosion, weathering, deposition and transportation. Because of these simultaneously take place, the creation of many landforms take place. The first order landforms are naturally created. As you all know that continents and oceans are the first order landforms. Mountains, plateaus and plains are the second order landforms. And since then, we have been learning about the different kinds of landforms right from the work of the water. These all are the third order landforms. Whether it is U-shaped or V-shaped valleys, oxbow lake, plungy pool, moraines and even the glaciers erosion, these all things, and sea arches, sea cavities, these all things are called as a third order landforms. Today we are going to learn about the work of the wind, under which we shall see about the changes caused by water in lithosphere we have seen. But in this section we shall read about the changes that happen in the atmosphere, particularly the movement of the winds. You know it, even the winds have the capacity to erode, and under the first section itself we have seen that the work of the water and the work of the wind are the two important factors which are involved in the creation of the third order landforms. So, wind is a dominant agent in the hot deserts. About 1/5 of the world's land is made up of desert. You should not forget that 1/5 of the land in the world is made up of the desert, and hot winds blow across these deserts. So, these winds also create many kinds of landforms. And some are rocky, others are stony, whereas others are sandy. So, strong winds carry a lot of fine soil which strike the large rocks present in this desert. These two act as an abrasive sandpaper and erode these rocks. That's the reason why Aravalis, if you have seen Aravalis which are located in India, one of the oldest mountain ranges, they look like worn out. Okay, so that occurs because it is located on the edge of Sahara, on the edge of the Thar desert. So, these fine soil gets eroded like a abrasive action, and the wind action occurs and it develops as a mushroom rock. Maybe you have seen a single stone or a single rock present in middle of the desert. I'll show you a picture which is given in the textbook, and it acts as a mushroom rack. This is a mushroom rock which got eroded at the bottom. At the bottom it got eroded, and at the top it is in the shape of the mushroom. So, and this is another picture, it's called as Insalberg. So, this is how it got eroded on its sides, you can see that, but there is a flat area on the top. It's a wider top. Okay, the bottoms have become narrow here in the mushroom, but whereas here it's a isolated residuary hills abruptly forms the ground, are called Insalberg, which you find in the desert. So, these kind of things we generally find in the desert region because of the winds over the years getting eroded due to the wind carries the fine soil, and it acts as a sandpaper on the surface of these rocks. So, the bottom of the rock gets narrow, whereas the top of the rock will be wide. So, it is in the shape of a mushroom. And even sandy dunes also gets formed due to the weathering and persistent wind action. Even sand dunes get developed. You might have visited the deserts like Thar desert in India. Okay, there is a fine shape which is formed on the top layer of it. So, this happens because of the wind action. These happen due to the accumulation of fine soil which is brought from the nearby places. These unstable hills of sand which move with strong winds, they form a number of shapes as they move and settle down there, and the fine dust blown beyond the desert limit is deposited in the nearby lands. Usually this is a fine soil and fertile soil, and they also creates some fine plains, especially the loess plains are the plains which are created because of the sand movement. because of the sand which is blown, because of the wind, this fine soil which is blown away from the limits of the desert, it falls into these neighboring areas, creating the loess plains. These loess plains are very fertile region, just like the delta region, and these plains are formed by the deposition of the loess. So for that reason it is called as loess plain, and even we find this kind of plains in the Rajasthan region of India. So coming to the action of vegetation and action of the human beings in the creation of the landforms, when it comes, in this we shall briefly understand the human interference and the impact of biosphere on the lithosphere even. So in what ways do you think that these vegetation and trees, plants and grass will affect the rocks? They contribute to the weathering of the rocks by driving the roots into the fine cracks and holes. You know it very well. Once a plant gets its roots completely gone into the depth of the rock, even the rocks gets broken. So this is how even the vegetation helps in the breaking of the rocks and getting it further weathered, and these enables weathering. On the other hand, the plants and the grass cover on the soils prevent easy denudational process, and even they also protect from the erosion and transportation of soil through the wind and water. Human being, especially after the Industrial Revolution, have had a major role in transforming the crust on which we live, and we have been cutting down the forest, and we are allowing for the more denudational process to happen, like weathering and erosion, due to which there is a serious threat even for the development of the humans, and there is a serious threat for the environment even. That's the reason the environmental crisis is occurring. So in this chapter, children, we have learnt about the different things like the drama which takes place at the margins of the plates, which we called it as a plate tectonics, and we also have learnt about the creation of the igneous rocks because of the eruption of volcanoes, and we learnt about the things like work of the water, work of waves, work of glacier, and work of winds, under which the third order landforms creation we have seen, and we have learnt about the terminology like moraines, till, and plungy pool, meanders, oxbow lake, and U-shaped valleys, canyons. These are the terminology which we have learnt under this unit. So with the help of this all knowledge, I hope you will improve your learning questions, like finding out which order landform is the Bison Gorge, Grand Canyon, Ozone and Thar Desert, and you will also write about the lithosphere, how the lithosphere got formed. That is nothing but the Earth's crust, isn't it? So how it got formed. So this conceptual understanding questions and information skill questions, I hope you will do it as a homework. Thank you, children.